Hey NoteTakers, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for tuning in and welcome back. If you're a new viewer, welcome. I hope you enjoy the videos because we have fun this side. If you're a subscriber, thank you for subscribing to my channel. If you aren't a subscriber yet, what are you waiting for? Click subscribe button to join in on the fun. Don't be shy. Alrighty, let's get into some legal content. So on today's video, I will just be going through my background, discussing how you should engage with my YouTube posts, the channel changes for my channel for July, going through Nene Leakes' lawsuit, and then some closing remarks. Alrighty, just some background on myself. My name is RHOA, but my name is RHOBH, but I prefer RHOA. I am currently a 4th year UNISA BA law student, just wanting to engage with other law students, individuals who are lovers of the law, soccer fans, and to connect with viewers from around the world. If you have any content suggestions or just wanting to reach out, feel free to email me at rhanoted@gmail.com. Again, my channel email is rhanoted@gmail.com, where you can share some feedback. I have changed my YouTube banner temporarily. I have declared July Real Housewives of Atlanta month, so I changed my banner, so hence the channel changes for July. Also, make sure to check my YouTube post section regularly. I posted this just explaining what's going to be happening in July on my channel. It just said, hey NoteTakers, I have declared July Real Housewives of Atlanta month on my channel. I'll be covering a few of the housewives, their music, their businesses, fashion, and sharing Real Housewives of Atlanta clips. I will also be going through Nene Leakes' lawsuit. Join in on the fun, don't be shy. July 4 to July 31 is Real Housewives of Atlanta month. Join me for some fun shade. See you guys soon. RHOA. So that post is just explaining why there's so much Real Housewives content on my channel in July. So make sure to engage with my post section to kind of keep up with what's happening on my channel. Okay, before we continue, I just want to say thank you to my subscribers. Thank you. It really means a lot. I was on the road to 150 subscribers, but my channel surpassed that. Now I'm on the road to 250. So thank you to those who are watching. Thank you to those who are subscribing. Thank you to those who are sharing, liking. It means a lot. And you guys know my channel mantra. If you're a new viewer and you don't know my channel mantra, this is my channel mantra. Let's say it all together. RHOA Noted will grow, RHOA Noted will do well, and RHOA Noted will reach more people. I'm manifesting. Okay, so for this video, I'll be discussing the lawsuit of Nene Leakes. This is part 2, so make sure to watch part 1 on my YouTube channel, just for a good foundation. Again, you may or may not have noticed I changed my YouTube banner, as I have declared July Real Housewives of Atlanta month, as the season 16 reunion is playing this July. Part 1 aired on 13 July, part 2 will be airing on 20 July, and part 3 on 27 July. So July will have quite a bit of Atlanta Housewives. I have also been posting shorts of the intros of the different seasons of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, shorts on Cooking with Kelly, shorts on Portia's music video, shorts on Drew's music videos, and some shorts on the Real Housewives of Atlanta show. So once you're done watching this video, you can go in my shorts section and just watch all the shorts and support. So yeah, feel free to watch those shorts. Let's share, like, comment, and enjoy a Real Housewives of Atlanta July. Anyway, today I'm continuing in discussing the lawsuit of Nene Leakes. So again, make sure to watch part 1 on my YouTube channel to just build a good foundation. This is just a continuation. Okay, you guys know I'm not super well versed in American law because I'm South African, but I'm learning and trying my best, so just bear with me. Okay, so in part 1, I went through paragraph 1 until paragraph 34. I'm going through the lawsuit paragraph by paragraph, so just bear with me. So let's just remind ourselves, just a bit of a catch up. So this is the lawsuit. The plaintiff is Nene Leakes, also known as Nene, and then our defendants are NBC, Bravo, True Entertainment, Truly Original, Andy Cohen, and I think there was also dose 1 to 35. Sorry, dose 1 to 25. So Nene is the plaintiff, and NBC, Bravo, True Entertainment, Truly Original, Andy Cohen, and dose 1 through 25 are the defendants. Okay, I just want to kind of revise some stuff from part 1. We were going through the factual allegations. So, in my opinion, a factual allegation is where a plaintiff makes statements that are specific so that the defendant is given a chance to defend themselves. So in this case, Nene, the plaintiff, made statements which we are going through now. And these statements that Nene made are specific. So once Nene has laid out these statements, then the defendant, or defendants in this case, which is NBC, Bravo, True Entertainment, Truly Original, Andy Cohen, and the does, they are given a chance to defend themselves. So basically, I would say that the factual allegations are essentially a roadmap of the events that led to the plaintiff's complaint. So I think with factual allegations, you have to be as detailed and be as specific as you possibly can, because I think that if your allegations are not detail orientated enough, or if your allegations are vague, it might lead to a dismissal, or because of your vagueness, you kind of give the defendant some leeway, and you don't want that. So that's what factual allegations are. So that's what we'll be looking at. So let's carry on looking at the factual allegations in Nene Leakes' complaint. So in part 1, we did go through a few of the factual allegations, so this is just a continuation. So in part 1, I ended up at paragraph 34. Now I will pick up at paragraph 35. Um, so now, paragraph 35 is just speaking about Vanderpump Rules. So let's take a step back and look at this important point, talking about the racial segregation within the Real Housewives franchise. Again, watch part 1, it'll make more sense. So I think paragraph 35 is the plaintiff, i.e. Nene, kind of showing a pattern of behavior within the Real Housewives franchise, which essentially is Bravo. So paragraph 35 is basically stating that the racial segregation isn't limited to the Real Housewives franchise, but it's limited to other Bravo shows like Vanderpump Rules. So I haven't really watched Vanderpump Rules. It is on my list on Netflix. I want to watch it. And the only reason I want to watch it is because of the implosion and drama and all of that around, I think you pronounce it Scandival. I didn't know any of these people. I didn't know Ariana. I didn't know Raquel. I didn't know. Truly, the only person I knew was Lisa Vanderpump from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I knew she had left Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but I didn't know where she went. She went to Vanderpump Rules. So I still need to watch it, but I am sadly well versed in Scandival. It was everywhere. So that's kind of how I know Vanderpump Rules. But I will probably watch it from the beginning, just to get a sense of the show. So anyway, sorry I was going on a tangent. So basically, paragraph 35 is just talking about another show that isn't really diverse, because there's like no black people. So then we move on to paragraph 36, where they talk about a cast member. I hope I'm saying her name right. Faith Stowers. I hope I'm saying her name right. They hired her, I think in 2015. And she didn't really have a great experience. Paragraph 36 says, but things did not work out that well for Ms. Stowers, who appeared on just one season. Of experience, Faith said, I definitely felt like I was being treated differently from everybody else. So she didn't really have a good experience, which is sad. So I think paragraph 36 to me, this paragraph here, is the plaintiff, Nene, showing Bravo's behavior. So she's showing that the racial segregation isn't limited to the Housewives franchise, but also to other Bravo shows. So showing Bravo is the problem and Bravo is one of the defendants. So in my research, in doing my research for this video, I found that Faith also had a lawsuit against Bravo. I had no idea. I haven't read it yet, but I will. I don't know if I should do a video going through her lawsuit. I will think about it. So this is a bit of her lawsuit. So we have Faith Styles, the plaintiff, and the defendants, NBC again, Bravo again, and those 1 to 50. Sheepers, that's a lot. So her complaint was in relation to retaliation, discrimination, hostile work environment harassment, failure to prevent discrimination and harassment, wrongful termination, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligent infliction of emotional distress. So that's another lawsuit against NBC Bravo. So I think the plaintiff did a good job in including the Vanderpump Rules cast member, Faith, to show Bravo's pattern of behavior. So the plaintiff, Nene, is essentially showing a pattern of Bravo's problematic behavior. Okay, then we move on to paragraph 39. Which is speaking about Luann from RHOA, or the Real Housewives of New York, and her offensive Diana Ross Halloween costume. And I remember watching this episode. It was, I don't want to be dramatic, but it was disgusting. Because Diana Ross, she's such a beautiful woman, so iconic, and you dress up like that as her. It was gross. So paragraph 39 says, during the season 10 premiere of RHOA, Luann appeared in a Halloween costume. Her skin tone several shades darker, and she was wearing a 2-foot tall wig. That. To me, this wasn't a costume. It was a caricature, like making fun of the legend that is Diana Ross. Like, it was wrong. Okay, paragraph 39 goes on to say it was indeed a stereotypical, offensive representation. After Luann was called out, Luann denied doing anything wrong. So NBC and Bravo didn't publicly disavow her offensive behavior. Then we move on to paragraph 44, which speaks about Ebony K. Williams. I actually remember watching this season. It was a really interesting season. So paragraph 44 is speaking about how Ebony K. Williams was RHOA's first black housewife, which is really weird. In their 13 seasons, like, are there no black people in New York? I don't understand. So Williams soon observed and she reported racially offensive conduct and statements that were made by longtime housewife Ramona Singer. So it seems like this, I guess, toxic pattern of behavior just keeps on going and going on these Bravo shows. Then we move on to paragraph 45. Williams, as in Ebony K. Williams, she lodged an internal complaint alleging racially offensive behavior from Singer, as in Ramona Singer. So she also experienced racially offensive behavior. So the plaintiff, Nene, she's showing the problematic behavior at Bravo. Then we move on to paragraph 46, where it says NBC, Bravo, they reportedly conducted an internal investigation into allegations of singer having made racially offensive remarks. So there was a housewife, Heather Thompson. I don't know if they spelled Heather's name right. I thought it was THOMSON. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. So housewife Heather, she kind of corroborated what Williams was saying. She says, I was there and I heard Ramona say that and I freaked out. So clearly Ramona said something horrible. An investigation should have been able to corroborate the allegations Williams made, but it didn't look like it. Then we move on to paragraph 7. So while all this was happening, I guess it was in the news. So because of all the drama, in my time that I've watched Housewives, there was no reunion. They cancelled it. I was really shocked because, as the complaint says, even during COVID, they were still doing virtual stuff, virtual reunions. But because of all of this drama, NBC and Bravo, instead of them doing an investigation, calling out Ramona on her behavior, they decided to essentially sweep it under the rug. So it says, rather than allow the racist behavior that it allowed at the workplace to see the public light by being aired, they chose to sweep the issue under the rug and cancel the reunion show. So instead of dealing with it, they swept it under the rug. We're going to move on to paragraph 48. Paragraph 48 says, despite those allegations that were made against Ramona, NBC and Bravo continued to reward Ramona. They chose to employ her on Ultimate Girls Trip, and Luann was also rewarded with the gig of Ultimate Girls Trip. So I think essentially paragraph 48 is saying that Luann's offensive behavior, the Diana Ross wig, and Ramona's problematic behavior wasn't dealt with, but both of them were still featured on Bravo adjacent shows, as in The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. So to me, I think in paragraph 48, this one right here, the plaintiff, i.e. Nene, is showing that Bravo chose to ignore Luann and Ramona's behavior and have them on Ultimate Girls Trip. So it's like they didn't learn anything. Luann and Ramona were reprimanded. They were just rewarded with Ultimate Girls Trip. Then we move on to paragraph 51, which was a really weird paragraph. It says that NBC, Bravo, and True have a history of allowing racially and culturally insensitive and offensive conduct or statements to go unremedied and uncorrected, which in my opinion is unacceptable. It's the opposite of providing a workplace free from discriminatory and harassing conduct. So as an employer, NBC, Bravo, truly original, they're not doing their job to protect their employees. Then paragraph 51 goes on to say, even Bravo has had to acknowledge that it has allowed racially insensitive conduct to go unremedied for too long, and that it should do better in the future. So that's a really weird thing to do or say. So basically, NBC, Bravo, they're acknowledging that, hey, we're a network that is allowing racially insensitive conduct to go on, and we also have allowed it to go unremedied for too long, and that we need to do better in the future. But are they doing better? Problematic. Okay, then we move on to paragraph 56. Just talking about Nene, because now we're on the section where it talks about the unlawful treatment of Nene Leakes and her experience and time on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So again, if you watch part 1, it'll make more sense. So now we're on Miss Leakes and her background. I think paragraph 56 is pretty self-explanatory, just explaining who Nene is. She's an African American, born in Queens, raised in Athens. She went to Clark Central High School. She attended Morris Brown College for 2 years. So a brief history. Then paragraph 57 talks about when Nene joined Real Housewives, 2008. Over the next decade plus, Miss Leakes was a key member of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I strongly agree with that. Whenever I think Real Housewives of Atlanta, the first housewife is Nene. And if you watch part 1, that was the reason I started watching Housewives, because of Nene. Not just Housewives of Atlanta, but Housewives as a franchise. So she is Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then see here paragraph 57. It has a footnote. It's basically just explaining Nene's time on Real Housewives of Atlanta. The footnote reads, Miss Leakes was a part of the cast for seasons 1 through 7. In June 2015, she announced she wouldn't return for season 8, but she did appear in a supporting role. Then she returned as a full-time housewife from season 10 until she was pushed off the show following the conclusion of season 12. So that's what the footnote is about, just Nene's chronological timeline on Housewife. She's laying out a roadmap. Then we move on to paragraph 58. Paragraph 58 just basically talks about Andy Cohen's tweets. So paragraph 58 says, Andy Cohen tweeted, Real Housewives of Atlanta is the house that Nene built. Preach, I agree. Another quote by Andy, Nene Leakes is an icon of the generation. She is a gif and catchphrase machine. In 11 years of Watch What Happens Live, Nene has been our most frequent guest, and she's always a blast. Nene nicknamed me Buttercup the first day we met and still calls me that today. Through a whole run, she has always had a serious concern and drive to maintain the success and well-being of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I think Nene is showing that even the defendants is agreeing that Real Housewives of Atlanta is the house that she built. So yeah, paragraph 58 is just talking about Andy's feelings with regards to Nene. Alrighty, then we move on to paragraph 60. This was a fun walk down memory lane, talking about the first season with the 5 OG housewives. That started the show. Nene, Lisa Wu, Deshawn Snow, Sheree Whitfield, and Kim Zolciak. So, just laying out Nene's Real Housewives of Atlanta history. Okay, then we want to paragraph 63, which was a really weird episode. So paragraph 63 is talking about Kim Zolciak. So, I think it was in season 5 when Candy got her house. So beautiful. And she invited Kim over. And I didn't know how to react. She says, in the episode, Kim said she had to lock her door. And she also speaks about swimming and whatnot. So in the lawsuit it says, Kim called the neighborhood in which Candy's house was as ghetto. That was really rude. I remember watching this episode. It was incredibly awkward. Even Candy was upset. If I was in Candy's position, I would be like, okay, that was the first and last time that Kim steps into my house. Like, you're supposed to be celebrating. You bought a new house. You don't want negative energy. So, I don't know why you call Candy's house ghetto. It was rude. Then, it goes on to say that in the episode, Kim was questioning why Candy needed a swimming pool because according to Kim, black people don't swim. Like, it was really awkward. Like, instead of celebrating Candy's house, Kim chose to be negative. First, you're calling the neighborhood Candy lived in ghetto. That's so rude. Second, saying black people don't swim. That's so offensive. I don't know what this obsession is with black people and swimming is. It really confuses me. I mean, I'm black. I love to swim. If you guys have watched my previous videos, you guys know, like, when I work out, I like doing my 50 laps. I love swimming. It's not limited to race. Like, there's some people that like swimming, some people don't. So I don't understand this obsession with black people in swimming. It's weird. If I were in Candy's position, I wouldn't want Kim, aka Wig, back in my house, because I invite you to my house and then you insult me. Bye. Like, I don't want that negative energy in my house, in my space. I'm celebrating and you're just gonna be mean and rude. So they're talking about that episode. So that was a really weird episode. Like, why? Like, no. So, no to negative energy, no to Kim, no to Wig. Then we go on to paragraph 64, where I think it was season 5, I think. Kim was being really weird about when she was filming. Like, there's certain times she didn't want to film, there's certain times she wanted to film. She was allowed to not go on the cast trip. I mean, yes, she was pregnant, but they scheduled a trip around the dates that she had suggested to them. So paragraph 64 is highlighting how differently Kim was treated. So she had the right to choose whether or not to film. She was allowed to leave when filming was not yet completed. She was allowed to demand that her family be included, like a husband, and she was allowed to avoid filming parts of her pregnancy when Phaedra was denied the same rights. So it's kind of showing how the other housewives were treated. Okay, then we go on to paragraph 65, where it says that Nene and the other housewives essentially raised their concerns about Kim's preferential treatment. Paragraph 65 says the preferential treatment that Kim got did not go unnoticed. Miss Leakes and the other housewives were so disturbed that they raised concerns to network executives. Their concerns weren't really heard. Nothing happened because they were reporting on Kim's preferential treatment, but also that she repeatedly made racially offensive comments. So Nene and the other housewives raised their concerns about Kim's preferential treatment, about how she made some racist remarks, and what did NBC, Bravo, Truly Original do? Nothing. Then we move on to paragraph 67, where instead of reprimanding Kim, they allowed her to leave the Real Housewives, and she continued to enjoy great commercial success within NBC, Bravo, and True in the form of her spin-off series that aired on Bravo. And she also made a return on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think it was season 10, I think. That reunion was legendary. Sometimes I just watch it just to cheer myself up because Nene asking Kim where her scooter is, I collapse into laughter because yeah. So she made her return, so it shows that they didn't deal with her behavior. Because if Kim knew that she had done something wrong, I don't think she would have done some of the things that she did in season 10. If you guys watch season 10, you know what I mean. Then we move on to paragraph 68. It basically says Kim's inappropriate behavior or conduct was rewarded rather than being remedied or mediated. Essentially, there was no consequence for Kim and her racial comments, offensive comments, nothing. So essentially, in paragraph 68, to me, it's saying Kim's offensive behavior was rewarded in the form of her show, Don't Be Tardy. I don't know if this is the correct setting of the thing. I've never watched the show. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I will. Then I move on to paragraph 69, where it talks about how there was no consequence for Kim. Instead, they created a spin-off show for her and her husband called Don't Be Tardy. The first season was called Don't Be Tardy for the Wedding, which I guess takes viewers on a journey between her wedding to Croy, and the show Don't Be Tardy aired for 8 seasons. I couldn't believe it when I watched the reunion that she had a show. I mean, I'd never heard of it until I watched the season 10 reunion. I guess it wasn't really on my radar, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention. So she had her own show for 8 seasons, which I guess ended in May 2021. So I think paragraphs 60 to 69, the plaintiff, Nene, is showing that the defendants, Bravo, NBC, True Entertainment, and Truly Original, they basically did nothing in putting a stop to Kim's racially offensive behavior. The defendants essentially instead rewarded Kim with her own show, Don't Be Tardy. So I guess the plaintiff is showing the defendant's problematic racial behavior, from Vanderpump Rules to Kim Zolciak. Remember, a lot of the factual allegations in this complaint deal with discrimination, hostile work environments, racially insensitive conduct, racial segregation, racially offensive conduct, and harassment. So I will stop at paragraph 69. In the third part, I will pick up from paragraph 70. And paragraph 70 basically is continuing to discuss Kim, aka Wig, and her emboldenment, her problematic behavior, her racially offensive statements. I think this is where we go into that episode where her daughter took a video in Nene's bathroom, which, yeah. So anyway, next video I will pick up from paragraph 70, where we will continue to discuss Wig's, Kim's, aka Wig's, problematic behavior. It was really interesting reading this complaint, all the facts that were laid out chronologically, looking at the different Housewives franchises, other Bravo shows, and reading about the house that Nene Leakes built, that is the Real Housewives of Atlanta. It was incredibly disheartening to read about the hostile work environments that the Atlanta Housewives had to endure, because everyone has a right to work in a workplace that's free from discrimination, free from hostility, free from retaliation, and free from racially insensitive conduct. Alrighty, I did my best to go through Nene's complaints. You guys know I am not well versed in American law. I tried to the best of my ability. Again, make sure to watch part 1. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. If you're a regular viewer, you know I hate littering. My mantra has always been, stop littering. Please stop littering, note takers. We only have one planet, so let's all do better. Stop littering and look after our planet. Don't litter, do better. Alrighty. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. I am the CEO/employee/boss, and this channel is my daily bread. It's my job, so help a lady out by subscribing. I'm on the road to 250 subscribers. I hope you guys will stay tuned and that you watch many videos. In closing, I shall say first, thank you for listening. Second, don't litter, do better. Third, watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. And lastly, see you soon. Thank you so much, note takers. Until next time.